people? Mike C-Town here, Dead in Hip Hop, here with another solo album review. Today we're going to talk about the new album from Death Grips entitled Niggas on the Moon. Yeah, I can say that shit. I've been trying to gather my thoughts about this album for a while now and, trying to come up with some cohesive idea to focus on here. But, yeah, just fuck it. I'm just going to sit here and I'm going to ramble on about the album. And that's it. I've been trying to not drink so much whiskey and been messing with this rum. Got a little rum punch, boy. Yeah, my Jamaican accent is terrible. Moving on. So in typical Death Grips fashion, they randomly dropped an album that's supposed to be part one to a double album. It's nice to see them getting back to the aggressive sounds, the more aggressive sounds after Government Plates. I didn't think Government Plates was a shitty album or anything, but it wasn't my favorite release by them. With the exception of a few tracks, the songs didn't super connect with me or make me feel anything more than this record is just okay. The intensity seemed to have been pulled back a little bit on that album. But with this one, I instantly get the feeling that I first had when I first heard No Love Deep Web, which is still one of my favorite releases by them. I get an instant claustrophobic feeling from this record, especially from the first song. The dense production just makes you feel uncomfortable in the best way possible. And MC Ride, he comes in on fire. You know what I'm saying? With a whole lot of passion. And I'm super happy to say that the fire and the passion, they don't go anywhere throughout this whole release. They stay there and sometimes intensify. They sometimes pull a little bit back, but they never leave. The instrumentals through this record, I have to say they're some of the most interesting instrumentals I've heard from these guys in a while. I feel like if you were a bit hesitant to call them hip-hop before, this record sure as shit isn't going to change your mind, The intensity and the insanity of Flatlander's beats and sample work, the crazy off-kilter drumming from Zach Hill, these slamming in your face sounds combined with these wild tempo changes. Man, it just keeps the feeling of tension throughout the whole album. Take, for instance, Say Hey Kid, the weird-ass speedy beat that then drops to almost crawl and then gives you this tightness until it speeds up right at the end of the song before just completely dropping off. It's fantastic. That's one thing that's really interesting about this release. The beats are so unconventional that you literally just don't know where they're about to go or what's about to happen next. Of course, whenever I hear anyone talking about this album, they're yapping about the fact that Bjork is on it. What's funny is, when I first listened to this, I didn't even notice Bjork at all until the last track. So when I went back, after listening to it a couple times, when I went back and heard that the Bjork edition was part of this huge hype around this record, I found it really funny. I think people thought that she was actually a functioning part of the creation of this record. You know what I'm saying? But hey, thought you was, boy. Thought you was, boo. The fact that they put Bjork on every track, but they mixed her in to the point where you'd almost not even know it's her. I think it's really interesting. Something that doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but in the world of Death Grips, it makes complete sense. Look at one of my favorite tracks on the album, the track Black Quarterback. I love what they did with the choppy ass beat, and I really love what they did with Bjork's voice here. And that song is super complex and detailed. The beat's moving all over the place, but MC Ride is totally staying on top of the beat no matter what. Throughout the record, MC Ride gives an incredible performance. He sounds more frenzied, more panicked than ever. He even does a few things with his voice that we're not quite used to. Take, for instance, Fuck Me Out. The almost subdued, creepy talking that he does here is really uncomfortable. You know, transcending the fact that he's saying bad words like fuck over and over and over again, it's the way he's saying it that makes it really awkward and uncomfortable. Then when you really analyze the idea of a person who is really only interested in the physical gratification without the emotional ties, it makes this song even weirder and more uncomfortable. Just don't touch me. Just fuck me. Or this could also mean the way we are in life with anything, you know? We don't want to be touched, but we don't mind being fucked, right? We don't want to deal with anything that could really mean something real. We just want that instant chunk of happiness or entertainment, you know? We don't want to deal with the world's problems. We want to know the important shit, like the latest news on some reality star getting arrested. You know, we don't want to discuss race relations at all. We just want our entertainers to entertain us. Twerk, ass, money, repeat. We don't really want to discuss mental health issues in the United States. We just want to be entertained by perceived crazy people like MC Ride. You know, once again, just don't touch me. Just fuck me. Combine those ideas with the choppy, chaotic backdrop, and you have one of the most interesting songs I've ever heard from Death Grips. I admit that I do try to decipher Ride's lyrics sometimes, but I would never pretend that I know exactly what he's talking about. You know, with his lyrics, I basically just try to pull an idea from him, you know, a central idea. And with this album, what I feel is Ride contemplating life and contemplating death. I guess that's kind of what he always has done, but I kind of get a different feel from this one. I feel like with this album, he's almost taunting people who try to act like they get it or have figured him out. You know, like the opener, Up My Sleeve. I feel like he's alluding to the fact that people may not really understand exactly what Death Grips is about, and he's not going to help them figure it out. You know, it's all up his sleeve. You know, art means different things depending on the interpreter, and a lot of artists, they truly just make art to get something off their chest. And if somebody gets it, great. If they don't get it, that's fine too. It doesn't really matter if others understand it, you know? It's almost like that whole idea of writing a letter to someone that's pissed you off or upset you, but you never actually send it. It still makes you feel better to get all that shit off your chest. That's kind of the idea I get from Death Grips albums. You know, I take my life like I kept it, up my sleeves. You know, if you snatch my fetish, I'll FedEx it. Notify me when you miss it. He's basically saying, like, no matter what, you're not going to get it. He can lay it out in any various number of ways, but you're still going to be off base. You know, like I probably am right now. Take the song Big Dipper. You know, I'm a bullshitter, I'm a shitty stripper, I'm a silhouette lifter, I'm a fucking downer. You know, he's kind of going through all these different categories that people try to put him in. You know, a person that's completely full of shit, being weird for the moment and for the reaction. You know, a shitty stripper, aka a bad rapper. You know, a fucking downer, self-explanatory. He's basically just saying, again, you keep making these assumptions, you keep putting Ride in certain boxes, but you just don't get it. Part of the fun of listening to Death Grips is trying to figure out the point of their music, right? Or the deeper meaning behind MC Ride's lyrics. So, hey, you know, let's keep guessing. You know, let's enjoy the music to the fullest, but let's keep sharing with each other the various ideas we have for what the hell it all means. You know, as long as we don't hold Death Grips accountable for our preconceived and probably false notions, then what's the harm, right? So overall, I think this is a fantastic addition to Death Grips' catalog. Definitely one of my favorite releases of the year so far. I feel like the instrumentals are absolutely top-notch in the realm of experimental music in general, not just experimental rap. I feel like MC Ride is giving one of his best performances vocally. So yeah, let me know what you think. Throw some comments in the comment section. Let me know what you thought some of these lyrics mean. Let me know what you thought about the intense production on this album. Yeah, that's it. As usual, thank you for living, thank you for loving, thank you for being you, and I will see you guys next time. Aight? Peace, bitches.